In the bustling city of Venice, Italy, a young boy named Marco Polo grew up dreaming of adventure. Born in 1254, Marco's family were merchants, trading goods across Europe and beyond. But Marco's life was about to change forever when his father, Niccolo, and uncle Maffeo returned home with incredible news. They had traveled all the way to the mysterious land of China and met the great ruler, Kublai Khan. When Marco was 17, his father and uncle decided to return to China. This time, they brought Marco along. The journey would be dangerous, crossing deserts, mountains, and strange lands, but Marco was eager to see the world. The journey began with long weeks of walking and riding camels across the Silk Road. They passed through the blazing Gobi Desert, where sandstorms could bury entire caravans. They climbed the freezing peaks of the Pamir Mountains, where the air was so thin it was hard to breathe. Along the way, Marco met people from many cultures, Persians, Turks, and Mongols, each with their own languages, foods, and traditions. After 4 long years, they finally reached China and were welcomed into Kublai Khan's magnificent court. Marco couldn't believe his eyes. The palace was like nothing he had ever seen. Golden walls, silk curtains, and treasures from all over the world. Kublai Khan ruled the largest empire in history, stretching from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. Kublai Khan was impressed with Marco and made him one of his trusted envoys. For the next 17 years, Marco traveled across China and beyond, visiting places most Europeans had never heard of. He saw the bustling city of Hangzhou, with its beautiful canals and busy markets. He marveled at the use of paper money, a strange idea to him at the time. Marco also traveled to India, Burma, and other parts of Asia, bringing back incredible stories of what he saw. Eventually, the Polos decided it was time to return to Venice. Kublai Khan didn't want them to leave, but he finally agreed, giving them treasures and letters for the Pope. The journey back was just as dangerous, with storms at sea and thieves along the way. After 24 years, Marco Polo finally returned home to Venice, now a grown man with stories no one could believe. When Marco told people about his adventures, they laughed. They called him Marco Millions, saying he must have made it all up. But Marco stood by his stories, saying, "I have not told half of what I saw." Later, Marco was captured during a war between Venice and Genoa. While in prison, he met a writer named Rustichello, who helped him write down his incredible journey. The book, The Travels of Marco Polo, became one of the most famous books in history. It inspired explorers like Christopher Columbus to dream of reaching the East. Marco Polo's stories brought the world closer together. He showed Europe the wonders of Asia and helped connect 2 very different worlds. Whether all of his tales were true or not, Marco's journey remains one of the greatest adventures in history.